London, January 1943. The war room at the Admiralty building is thick with cigarette smoke and tension. Maps cover every wall. Red pins mark Axis positions across Europe and North Africa. Blue pins mark Allied forces. The red outnumbers the blue. Naval Intelligence Officer Ewan Montague stares at the map of the Mediterranean, Sicily. The island sits like a dagger pointed at the heart of Nazi-occupied Europe. Take Sicily, and the Allies can invade Italy. Take Italy, and Hitler's southern flank collapses. But there's a problem. Everyone knows Sicily is the target. The Germans know it. The Italians know it. It's the most obvious invasion point in the entire Mediterranean, and that means it will be defended with everything the Axis powers have. Montague does the math in his head. Thousands of Allied soldiers will die on those beaches, maybe tens of thousands. The invasion could fail entirely if the Germans concentrate their forces there. We need a miracle, says Charles Cholmondeley, an RAF officer and amateur naturalist who works in British intelligence. Montague looks at him. We need something better than a miracle. We need a lie so perfect that Hitler himself believes it. Cholmondeley pulls out a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket. On it is a sketch, some notes, and a single word at the top, mincemeat. What if, Cholmondeley says quietly, we could make the Germans think Sicily is a feint? What if we could convince them the real targets are Greece and Sardinia? Montague studies the paper. How? Cholmondeley leans forward. With a corpse, a dead man carrying fake invasion plans. We float him off the coast of Spain. The Spanish find him, pass the documents to the Germans, and the Germans move their forces away from Sicily. Montague stares at him for a long moment. Then he smiles. That's insane. I know. It might just work. And so begins Operation Mincemeat, the most audacious, bizarre, and successful deception in the history of warfare. A plan so outrageous that it would save thousands of lives, change the course of the war, and depend entirely on one thing: a dead man who never existed. The first challenge is simple but macabre. Find a corpse. Not just any corpse. It has to be a man, roughly 30 to 40 years old, reasonably fit, and dead from causes that won't be obvious in an autopsy. The body must look like it drowned after a plane crash at sea. That means no bullet wounds, no stab marks, nothing suspicious. Montague contacts Bentley Purchase, the coroner for Street Pancras in London. Purchase is used to unusual requests from British intelligence, but this one is different. You want a body? Purchase asks. Yes. For what purpose? I can't tell you that. Purchase nods slowly. In wartime London, secrecy is the norm. I'll see what I can do. A few weeks later, Purchase calls Montague. I have someone. A Welsh man. Glyndwr Michael, 34 years old, homeless, died from eating rat poison, found in an abandoned warehouse in King's Cross. Montague feels a pang of sadness. Glyndwr Michael lived a hard life alone, homeless, forgotten. Now, in death, he would play a role that might change history. Will it work? Montague asks. The cause of death won't show up easily in a Spanish autopsy, Purchase says. Rat poison causes fluid in the lungs. It looks like drowning. Perfect. Glyndwr Michael's body is transported to a secret location. He is placed in a refrigerated storage unit. His identity is erased. He is no longer Glyndwr Michael, a homeless Welshman. He is now Major William Martin, Royal Marines. But creating a new identity is more than just a name and rank. Montague and Cholmondeley understand something crucial. If the Germans are going to believe this deception, Major Martin must feel real. He must have a life, a personality, a story. So they begin to build him. Montague writes fake letters from Pam, Martin's fictional fiancée. The letters are tender, emotional, full of longing and worry. Darling, I don't think I could bear it if they sent you off into the blue the way they do nowadays. Now that we've found each other out of all the world, I don't want to lose you. They include a photograph. An MI5 clerk named John Leslie agrees to pose as Pam. She's young, pretty, smiling. The kind of woman a soldier would carry a photo of. They add more details. A receipt for an engagement ring. Theatre ticket stubs from London. A letter from Martin's father, scolding him for spending too much money. An overdraft notice from Lloyd's Bank. Every detail is designed to make Martin real. Because if the Germans doubt even one small thing, the entire operation falls apart. The next step is the documents. These are the heart of Operation Mincemeat. Everything depends on them. Montagu drafts 2 letters. The first is from Lieutenant General Archibald Nye, Vice Chief of the Imperial General Staff, to General Harold Alexander, Commander of British forces in North Africa. The second is from Admiral Lord Louis Mountbatten, Chief of Combined Operations, to Admiral Sir Andrew Cunningham, Naval Commander in the Mediterranean. Both letters are carefully worded to seem authentic, casual, and most importantly careless. Nye's letter mentions that the Allies are planning a major invasion of Greece, codenamed Operation Husky. It also mentions a smaller diversionary attack on Sicily to draw German attention away from Greece. Mountbatten's letter talks about Sardinia as another target, and mentions Major Martin as a specialist in amphibious assault techniques. The genius of the letters is that they don't scream secret invasion plans. They're written like routine military correspondence between old colleagues. Casual, informal, the kind of letters that might actually be carried by a courier. But there's one more layer of deception. Ian Fleming, yes, the future creator of James Bond, is involved in planning Operation Mincemeat. Fleming suggests adding personal touches to make the letters even more convincing. So, Mountbatten's letter includes a joke about sardines, a subtle play on Sardinia. Nye's letter mentions Martin's expertise in a light, almost throwaway manner. These small details make the documents feel real. The letters are sealed in a briefcase and chained to Major Martin's wrist. The briefcase also contains other official-looking papers, meaningless bureaucratic forms that add authenticity. Now comes the hard part, delivering the body. The 19th of April, 1943. HMS Seraph, a British submarine, departs from Holy Loch in Scotland. On board is a special cargo, a large metal canister packed with dry ice. Inside the canister is the body of Major William Martin. The submarine's captain, Lieutenant Norman Bill Jewell, knows the mission is important, but he doesn't know all the details. Only Montagu, Cholmondeley, and a handful of senior officers know the full scope of Operation Mincemeat. For 10 days, HMS Seraph travels south through the Atlantic, navigating U-boat-infested waters, heading toward the coast of Spain. The crew is curious about the canister. They're told it contains important meteorological equipment. No one questions it. In wartime, secrecy is normal. On April 30, just before dawn, HMS Seraph surfaces off the coast of Huelva, Spain. The location has been carefully chosen. Huelva is a known hub of German intelligence activity. Spanish officials there are known to cooperate with the Abwehr, Germany's military intelligence organization. Jewell and his officers open the canister. Major Martin's body is dressed in full Royal Marines uniform, complete with boots, a life jacket, and the briefcase chained to his wrist. They check everything one last time: the letters, the personal items, the ID tags. Everything is perfect. At 4:30 a.m., under cover of darkness, they lift the body and gently place it in the water. The tide is incoming. It will carry Major Martin's body toward the Spanish coast. Jewell watches as the body drifts away into the black water. Then he orders the submarine to dive. HMS Seraph disappears beneath the waves. A few hours later, Jewell sends a coded radio message to London. Mincemeat completed. Now they wait. Later that morning, a Spanish fisherman named José Antonio Rey Maria is checking his nets off the coast of Huelva. He sees something floating in the water. At first, he thinks it's debris. Then he realizes it's a body. He pulls the body ashore and alerts the Spanish authorities. The local Spanish officials examine the body. The man is wearing a British military uniform. There's a briefcase chained to his wrist. The ID tags identify him as Major William Martin, Royal Marines. The Spanish conduct an autopsy. The doctor concludes that Martin drowned after a plane crash at sea. Everything seems consistent with that conclusion. The Spanish authorities notify the British consul in Huelva. But before they hand over the body and belongings, they do something else. They photograph the documents in the briefcase and send copies to German intelligence. This is exactly what Montagu and Cholmondeley predicted. The documents make their way to Adolf Kloss, a German Abwehr agent in Huelva. Kloss immediately recognizes their significance. He sends them to Berlin. In Berlin, German intelligence officers study the documents carefully. Are they real, or is this a British trick? They analyze the paper, the ink, the handwriting. They check the signatures. They verify Major Martin's identity through Spanish records. Everything checks out. The Germans conduct their own investigation. They confirm that a British plane did go missing around the time and place where Martin's body was found. They find no evidence of deception. On the 14th of May 1943, Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz meets with Adolf Hitler. They discuss the documents recovered from Major Martin's briefcase. Hitler studies the papers. He doesn't believe Sicily is the real target. He believes the documents are genuine. Greece and Sardinia are the real targets. Sicily is just a feint. Hitler issues immediate orders. The 1st Panzer Division is moved from France to Greece. German troop levels in Sardinia are doubled to 10,000. Fighter squadrons are redeployed. Torpedo boats are moved from Sicily to the Greek islands. 7 German divisions are sent to Greece. 10 more are sent to the Balkans. British codebreakers at Bletchley Park intercept the German communications. They hear the panic, the redeployment, the confusion. On May 21, a coded message is sent to Winston Churchill, "Mincemeat swallowed whole." Churchill smiles. The 9th of July, 1943. Operation Husky begins. Allied forces invade Sicily. The Allies expected heavy resistance. Intelligence projections predicted tens of thousands of casualties. The beaches of Sicily were supposed to be killing fields. But something strange happens. The German defences are weak. The coastal fortifications are undermanned. The elite panzer divisions aren't there. Most of the German forces are in Greece and Sardinia, waiting for an invasion that will never come. Even after the invasion begins, the Germans still believe Greece is the real target. 21 German aircraft leave Sicily to reinforce Sardinia 4 hours after the invasion has already started. The British clear the southeastern part of Sicily in just 3 days. American forces drive eastward, taking Palermo by July 22. The entire island falls in 38 days, not the projected 90 days. Allied casualties are far lower than expected. Thousands of lives are saved. The fake invasion plans worked. Major William Martin, the man who never was, had changed the course of the war. Back in London, Montagu and Cholmondeley receive the news. They don't celebrate publicly. Operation Mincemeat is still classified. The world won't know the truth for years. But privately, they know what they accomplished. A homeless Welsh man named Glyndwr Michael, who died alone and forgotten, became a war hero. His body helped save thousands of lives. Major William Martin was buried with full military honours in Huelva, Spain. For decades, his real identity remained a secret. In 1997, the Commonwealth War Graves Commission added Glyndwr Michael's name to the gravestone. The inscription now reads, Glyndwr Michael, served as Major William Martin, RM. Operation Mincemeat proved something profound. In war, deception can be as powerful as any weapon. A lie, if crafted with care and precision, can change history. And sometimes, the greatest heroes are the ones no one ever knew existed. Ewan Montagu went on to write a best-selling book about Operation Mincemeat in 1953, titled The Man Who Never Was. It was adapted into a popular film in 1956. Montagu never forgot Glyndwr Michael, the man whose body made it all possible. Charles Cholmondeley continued working for MI5 until 1952. He later married and travelled the world, never seeking credit for his role in one of history's greatest deceptions. Ian Fleming used his intelligence experience to create James Bond. the world's most famous fictional spy. Many of Bond's adventures were inspired by real operations like Mincemeat. Jean Leslie, the woman who posed as Major Martin's fiancée, married a soldier after the war and lived a quiet life. And Glyndwr Michael? He rests in Spain, remembered not for how he died, but for what he accomplished in death. So, what do you think? Could a single corpse really change the course of a war? Operation Mincemeat proves that sometimes the most powerful weapon isn't a gun or a bomb, it's a perfectly crafted lie. But this raises a question. How many other secret operations like this happened during World War II? How many lives were saved by deceptions we still don't know about? If you want to hear more untold stories of World War II heroes, secret operations, and the brilliant minds who changed history, subscribe now. Drop a comment below. What other World War II mysteries should we investigate? Because history isn't just about the battles, it's about the people who fought them and the ones who outsmarted the enemy without ever firing a shot.